Making another video. Look, we're starting to get this down.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it with this behind. It's nice. Does it get a little bit of the beach?
Oh yeah.
Does it? Oh, nice. I'm a kid from Jersey. This is like Delhi, New Jersey. We're like a New Jersey Delhi.
Sounds like a sandwich shop.
We had great sandwiches. They're called enlightened sandwiches.
Yes.
In Jersey Delhi.
Once you try it, you'll come back.
Yeah. When do we start?
Yeah. Hi. Hi, we're here with Chris DeSanti again, and today we're going to talk about gurus. You know, you probably heard about gurus. What does a guru mean? What does a guru mean to you, Chris?
And you know, the name guru, does it go gu or gu?
Yeah.
Remover of darkness. Which one is the RU is the remover?
Gu is the darkness.
Darkness, and ru is
the
remover.
Beautiful, yeah.
So guru is the remover of darkness.
So who's your guru?
You. Any person that could give you a feeling where darkness is removed becomes revered in a subtle way, which could also be a trap, because then what happens is people end up idolizing, you know, where what the guru awakens is already within us. And I think that's important to understand, that the remover of darkness, it's really the greatest guru is one's own inner guru. And the guru happens to ignite that. Words are used, but they're not really needed. You know, I remember in India, we would go on Tuesdays.
How does he know about India? I should really be the one talking about India. So in India, we grew up with all the gurus. There were so many gurus.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad, I remember just taking me on Sundays. We used to go to satsangs. And those are usually held by gurus. This conversation's not making any sense. I think I should just have him talk.
You know, I remember in India, we would go on Tuesdays to some woman who was a guru, would just sit and look at everyone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say a word.
Yeah.
And like...
Darshan.
Yeah, darshan.
Yeah.
Just the energy and the...
I mean, I grew up with all these gurus who would basically do a talk just to kill awkwardness. But all they do after the talk is put their hands in namaste and just look at you for 5 minutes. And we were always told, when you're sitting in a satsang, when you're sitting with thousands and thousands of people, you want to look directly in Guru's eyes. Spirituality flows through Guru's eyes.
Yeah.
So I don't know the science behind it, but I'm doing a lot of research so we can put that in a very scientific and left brain perspective.
Yeah. You know, some of the traditions, some of the gurus like Muktananda and Nityananda, they some of the more infamous gurus too. They talk about Shakti Pot, where it's through the look it ignites almost the kundalini, the energy in us.
Yeah,
and it needs to be tempered with discernment. I think for both the teacher and the student, because if the guru has a sense of power, can play games with students and things like that happen. And
I mean, the guru power has been abused all the time, and we've heard stories over the years. That's just very normal, and it's just like it's all over. So what do you think about from that perspective? You think gurus get so much power and people just idolize them into gods, and then they can abuse that power?
Yeah, I personally, my own thing, I went through a very interesting time. You know, when I was in India my first time, the teacher who I learned from was a very prominent teacher at the time, and then it came out that he was cheating on his wife with one of the students, and it came out in one of the retreats, and when he had died, it left a stain to some degree on his name. And I came across this book called Stripping the Gurus. It was very intense, and it talked about all these teachers who, you know, I grew up reading about, even though, you know, when I went to India, I was probably 22. I was reading about a lot of these teachers who had such amazing teachings. But I think what happens is, if that work isn't done in the lower chakras, like you talk about sometimes, it's seductive, the power.
Very seductive.
It's seductive, the sexual energy that people, the way they look at them. If they haven't done that, between the money and the power and the sex, it gets very
tricky.
Yeah.
No, this is totally going with what I believe in, because if you think about these gurus, the way they were raised is usually their father was a guru too. So if you're coming from that lineage, then you didn't get to experience all the aspects of life in a way a normal person would experience. Relationships, girlfriends, whatever it is that you probably needed some time to resolve those lower chakras of your life. And then you stepped into that role which was basically given to you. Yeah, you heard that story about the bad wolf and the good wolf, and if you feed the good wolf in you, then the good wolf would become stronger and the bad wolf would suppress. But in a way, I don't really agree with that story, because there's good and bad in us, and that we need to be able to accept the bad within us and be able to resolve it instead of ignoring and pushing it down. So I think most of the gurus, the way they grew up, especially if you look at how the Dalai Lama is chosen, they basically pick up a 6-year-old kid who was Dalai Lama in past life, and they go through some memory test from the past birth, and they're like, you are next Dalai Lama. And now his life is just public, not his own anymore. So what about all the unresolved things which he wanted to experience? What happens to those as aspire and aspirations and desires? So I think those materialistic desire needs to be fulfilled, which is kind of like the lower chakras of life, before we can start having this even curiosity to explore the metaphysical.
Yeah.
So I think gurus I don't know if they lack that, or they're kind of like prey to that way of thinking.
Well, or you think of money, success, fame is a magnifier, so it brings up any unhealed parts of yourself.
Yeah.
So if you haven't worked through that,
Yeah.
and then you're thrust upon all this stuff, it magnifies any unresolved parts of ourselves. And the thing about it is, you could have a great skill set as a teacher and charisma, but that doesn't equal you're healing those unhealed parts of yourself behind closed doors that maybe your students and people can't see.
Yeah.
I like to a great teacher who one of my teachers learned from. I always loved Nisargadatta Maharaj. We talked about. He wrote a book called I Am That, and it's a profound book. People would come to him, and he didn't like the guru game. He would actually send people, if they came to satsang, they'd come for a week. He'd say, leave.
Okay.
Go assimilate. I'm not interested in you idolizing me or any of that stuff. But he had this saying that I never forgot. He said, the greatest guru is one's own self, capital S.
Okay.
Something along these lines. He said, confide in him and no outer guru is necessary. He walks with you to the goal, for he is the goal. So it's the inner guru that's the goal. When we surrender to the inner guide, some people call it the Holy Spirit, the inner spirit, the inner guide, the inner guru, then no outer guru is necessary. But for a time period, having a teacher could support us on our journey. It's just not about making an idol out of that teacher, because at the end of the day, everyone's human.
Everybody's human, and I think everybody has different personalities. I think that's where, from the Indian perspective, it comes down to having different kinds of yogas which lead to essentially the same path. So think about, an analogy comes to my mind is, let's say you want to ride a bus. Let's say you want to ride your own bus and you want to make your own mistakes. So that's kind of like, they call it Kriya Yoga. And if you want to ride a bus with a map so you don't make mistakes, because that map is prepared by someone else before you, then that becomes Jnana Yoga, because you're basically navigating your life with knowledge. And then comes the Karma Yoga. If you don't want to make the mistakes and you don't want to use the map, you just follow somebody who's going in the right same direction too. And then comes the devotional, the Bhakti Yoga. I just did a video last week on Bhakti Yoga, so go check it out. The Bhakti Yoga is, if you want to not drive a bus, not worry about navigation, you want to just sit in the bus and let the driver drive the bus. So if you're in that stage where you really don't have desire to take decisions, you just want to devote yourself, which means you have to dissolve your personality. You can't just say, sitting in the back seat, hey driver, take me here. You're just going to go where the driver is taking you. So that's the kind of people guru becomes important, because they want somebody external who they believe in to show them the direction, create clarity in their own life. And that comes down to different different stages in your life too.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, the bus. I like that one. That's really awesome. Yeah, I could see different parts of my life where I've been in different aspects or different places on the bus, in the back, surrendering, looking at the map, it's cool.
But if you never drove the bus before, then you sit on the back seat, somebody just tells you, go sit on the back seat, then you'll always have desire to drive that bus and tell the driver, hey, go in that direction. You're not doing it right because you don't know what it's like to drive a bus.
And don't we do that with our day-to-day life to Creator, God, this is the way it should be, rather than please show me, not my will, thy will, and being guided. And then I think when we surrender to that we're being guided, and all these different paths you're talking about, different yogas can be supportive for us, then the outer guru is a representation of something for us, of our true nature, a representation of this clear space,
beautiful,
that awakens something in us. That could be the awakening of the Shakti, the Kundalini. It's an awakening of an ascension within us. And they say when you're ready, the guru appears. When
the student is ready, the teacher appears.
And when you're ready, the guru appears in whatever form. For Ramana Maharshi in India, his guru was Arunachala mountain. It was the mountain. They believed the mountain was Shiva. So he was ready. He was 16. He went to the mountain and he was devotional to the mountain and what it represented. And it could be, it could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a reminder. You read the words and it ignites something within you to seek to
India, growing up in India, there were so many examples of these gurus who denied the students because they didn't have Guru Dakshina or something to offer them. And these students went back and they made an idol, like a stone idol of a guru, and were taught from that. So they just created a guru in a different form. But that just shows you that you are your own guru. I think there's a misinterpretation of guru because this is how our mind works in a hierarchy way. Now, this is God and this is us, and there must be some medium which needs to connect us to the God, and that becomes the gurus, and we idolize them. So when we realize that this hierarchy is just a creation of our mind, then we'll realize that we are our own gurus.
So and the guru's within us, and then it becomes of how good are we at listening and being guided by what the inner guide is guiding us to. And that's great.
So who's your guru?
You. My pocket Deepak. I have, I've been really fortunate. I've gotten to meet gurus in real life, study a lot of them. I've been moved. I think, A Course in Miracles has the teaching of the Christ. I think that there's great, I've always been drawn to Ramana Maharshi and Nisargadatta Maharaj, that lineage. People like Papaji and I would say more of a non-dualistic lineage for me has always resonated. But I also, Ram Dass and Neem Karoli Baba, and, who Ram Dass just passed recently. He was the one that sparked it for me. And I would, go read books on these teachers. I would say Nityananda, not the infamous one that had like sex scandals.
Not the one.
The old one of Ganeshpuri. I got a chance when I was young to spend time where he used to give satsang. And it was such a profound experience. So I feel all of us are peopled with guides, and on one level they seem separate, on the other level, like you said, it's us. It's just different aspects of ourselves guiding us home.
So what do you think, since you had so much experience with the gurus, and then you might have seen some gurus like Osho, they were revered at one time and then they were brought down, and so many examples. Asaram was a very big example growing up for me. So I want to ask you this, that are we expecting too much? Are we the ones who are making them gods when they're basically human beings?
I think so. I think that the idea we have of them, it getting shattered, it could be a good thing. On an extreme level, I think it hurts some people. I mean, there's stories of not even to go into dark stuff coming from gurus and things like that. It's become a dirty word in our culture. I think anytime an idea of the way someone should be is shattered, is good. I think that us knowing that we're all human, and that we shouldn't surrender power of critical thinking or discernment. It's a catch-22 because part of being with the guru is surrendering,
yeah.
but you also have to realize the humanness that everyone's subject or open to temptation, to forgetting too.
Yeah.
And I think where it becomes detrimental is the idea that we have this enlightenment experience and then we're changed forever. I think the gurus have sold that. I think that there's a realization, a revelation that occurs, and then it's like the old saying, what's before enlightenment? Chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
What's after enlightenment? Chop wood, carry water.
Yep.
You go about, and you're still living in a human experience, but there's an awakening to a divine that flows through all of us that I think it's important for human beings to focus on that rather than on a specific person. Because when you focus on a specific person, it can really go down a darker path of idolatry and holding people up on a pedestal, which they always fall.
Yeah.
What was it like for you with your guru? And because your family had a guru, so what was it like growing up around that all the time?
So I was always a little rebellious about the idea of guru, that why do I have to go somewhere else to find wisdom? Why can't I just meditate? If their guru is just teaching you to go inside and meditate and find the truth, then why do I need somebody else outside? So I was always rebellious. But I got a lot of wisdom out of it.
I'm sure.
And no scandal on them.
That's great. Now that there's internet, so everything's broadcast. You know. And there's a blessing to that too, because I think people again see the humanness and we get to wake up to our own guide. And start to learn to be guided by that. Great.
See, the one thing I didn't agree with the guru thing is that we put the guru on a mountain, that he's up there and he's looking down so he can see everybody's path, how to get to the mountain. But that's not the idea. Everybody wants to take a different path. So if you listen to the guru on what to do, then I don't know, that just takes away from our human experience of making mistakes. And
Great.
So are you a guru, Chris?
No. No, I'm not. I'm very clear. Now, wait, it's a double-edged sword, because people might have been being a student of mine felt like darkness was removed.
Right.
So they might want to say, put me in a position of guru. But I also, my background, of Course in Miracles, is that we're all teachers and students.
Yes.
So, that's when you said, who's my guru? I said, you're my guru, joking, but
Well, I thought I was your guru. He was joking about it.
Yes, I could be a teacher, and I've been a teacher for thousands of people, but I also, for myself, I'm a student. So I want to always maintain that humility. So on one level, in the term remover of darkness, you're a guru, I'm a guru. Anyone who steps into that to relieve suffering for people could be considered a guru, but me as a person, no.
So tell us about your book you wrote.
In Urban Mystic, it's called Urban Mystic. From New Jersey, no one really knew about any of this stuff, so I went searching for it, and it's called Ancient Wisdom from a Modern Day Seeker, because I'm a seeker at heart. So not like a guru, and I want everybody to think this way. They're like memoirs of what I wrote of working with people over the years. And,
beautiful.
And I even talk about some of that in the book as well.
And I'm going to put a link in the description.
Awesome. Great. So this is always fun talking.
This is always fun. So we'll keep bringing you more and more topics, actually. So please comment below and tell us what you would like us to talk about, and it would be interesting. What do you think?
I would love to. We constantly have these conversations in our friendship. It'd be great to bring out, it's like East meets West, and we've got a lot of different modalities that we've studied.
And we've been talking like this, sitting on the beach for a year now. We got an idea, why don't we record it so we bring value in people's life, because it did bring value to us. So we're just sharing this knowledge, and just like he said, we are seekers of the truth. Being a seeker means that we don't know, and we'll constantly keep learning more and more things. More we know, less we know. So that's the realization I have personally come to.
That's great. I feel the same. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
you.
Guruji.
You too, Guruji.